And good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Highside Hustle. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me is Adam Rubright, as usual, Chris Graham, our producer, and somewhere in here is the one and only Captain Scotty Deal. And boys, a Sunday night Highside Hustle edition here, and yeah, we got a lot of racing to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. What a weekend! What a week of racing.
I agree with you. There was some serious amounts of great racing, no matter which track, which series, is pretty much everywhere.
Absolutely, here, boys, and let's start it off. Let's get right into some of these results here because there was a lot that went down here. We'll go all the way back to last Saturday night to refresh you guys. But I think it's worth noting here. If we talk about last week at Olympics with the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series, where we kind of kicked off everything for Florida Speed, and Kyle Larson going out there and whipping everybody. And I'm not talking about by a little bit. I'm talking about by a lot. Kyle Larson go out there winning by 15 seconds over Devin Moran and Mike Marlar. But, Adam, I mean, it just goes to show Larson that he's looking for fair. He already got 2 wins starting out here in 2021.
Yeah, he has looked extremely impressive. And when you say by a lot, he took everyone to the goddamn woodshed.
Yeah, I mean, you're not joking there. I mean, he absolutely whipped him by going out, taking him to the woodshed, and just showing that, all right, I can still win out here in a late model. And on a track that got super slick like Alltech normally does, I mean, he did show that he can drive in just about everything for that $15,000 payday.
He sure did. I mean, and he was super smooth all night.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we'll move over now to Monday night, which opened up the 45th annual East Bay Winter Nationals down at East Bay, and it started out here with Turbo Tyler Erb picking up the win on Monday night over Brandon Overton, Brian Shirley, Josh Richards, and Kyle Bronson. And it just started out as kind of Turbo was one of those guys that was there all week to start, but it seems like each night showed a different story down at East Bay, and it just changed with the tide like it always does.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's another one. He's been super fast right out of the box, other than the whole incident the other night.
Well, we'll get in that here. I believe that was on coming up here on Friday night. We'll get in that here. But Chris, I mean, we'll bring you into the show here. But I mean, what a start to the week here for not only Larson but Turbo Tyler Erb. Good way to start the East Bay Nationals on Monday night.
Yeah, this one was we had a fun weekend. I mean, I don't know. You get late models, sprint cars, modifieds, and one of the biggest sports car races in the world all happening within a couple hours of each other. It was nirvana for race fans.
Oh my God, Chris, is that you? I can only see your head.
It's me, yes.
Oh, boy. This is going to be one of them streams, ain't it?
Oh.
Oh, God. There's a pounder. I knew we had it in him. Oh, boy.
All right, everybody. For those of you just tuning in here and not joining in on the whole party, anytime somebody drops a really crappy music lyric, that's the drinking game for the night. So something tells me Adam's going to kill us, but leave us a comment in the comments section here, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, or you can tweet us too at Highside_Hustle. Also at the NRN TV. Make sure you get those out of the way. But yeah, boys, where do we start? Do we start with the late models? I mean, you talked about it a little bit, but the
Might as well
modifieds were
start with the
pretty
late
darn
models,
good out
Chris.
there too for the short track super series.
Might as well. Actually, I just gave you Tuesday night's rundown. I completely skipped Mondays. We'll just go in order here. The week where it was Hudson O'Neal picked up the win on Monday night. That was my fault there, folks. But Hudson O'Neal over Brandon Shepard, Brandon Overton, Devin Moran, Earl Pearson Jr., and a good way to start the week there by Hudson O'Neal. New team, new car, and goes out there, holds off the strongest late model in the country right behind him in Brandon Shepard. But he really had to do a good drive job to be able to hold off Brandon Shepard there. There were just so many yellows in that race. So they just could not get going on Monday Night Pig.
No, they really couldn't, and it's a shame because the racing was great when they were racing. I mean, that's the thing. You pray for long green flag runs, but sometimes you just can't get them, and it sucks.
Yeah, they were struggling with that a lot, is that they just could not get that long green flag run going throughout the week, and it took a little bit of time for them to finally get that green flag run going, but unfortunately by the time they got it going, they were just out of laps. So as now we'll look on, as I said, Monday night or Tuesday night was Tyler over Brandon Overton, Brian Shirley, Josh Richards, and Kyle Bronson. Now Wednesday night got rained out. I believe that's the same system that rained out Bubba's on Wednesday night as well. So they ran Wednesday night's feature after Thursday night's feature down East Bay. And Stormy Scott goes out there on a rubber down track and holds on for his first career Lucas Oil late model win. And he had a hold off probably the best in Florida. Multiple wins down East Bay. He's so hard to beat down there. But Stormy did the right things to get hold off Kyle Bronson and T-Mac Tim McCready in order to get his first career Lucas Oil late model win.
Yeah, absolutely. But not to change the subject here, but USAC Racing just posted that Hayden Reinbold will compete on the full NOS Energy Drink National Midget schedule for the first time.
Okay.
Not to change the subject,
Okay.
but
No,
I was scrolling to Twitter and that was the first thing that popped up all of 3 seconds ago. So I'm sure that's breaking news for whomever it concerns.
We are breaking news. That is fantastic.
Perfect. That's why we love you here, Pay. Keeping the perfect stories, finding the scoop. Love it.
Well, that's the thing. Like I didn't get a chance to see a lot of the late model stuff, so you're more up to speed on that than I am, other than the casual scrolling through Twitter. I did see the Larson absolutely to the woodshed, but other than that, I didn't see a whole lot other than what you Snapchatted me, and occasionally if there was a highlight video that was oh my god, the parking lots. Yeah.
there were good days there this week here. Anyway, Stormy Scott picked up his first career win over Kyle Bronson, T-Mac, Tim McCready, Frank Ekenes Jr., and Brian Shirley. And then in the second feature on Thursday night, it was Josh Richards, Rocket Man, go out there, picked up his first win of the season, the Clint Boy Racing, number 14, over Brandon Overton, Hudson O'Neal, Brian Shirley, and Devin Moran. And Overton has the orange spoiler going for him right now, and he's really starting to find his groove here. I believe he's running for full points this year in Lucas Oil Tour. I think it probably is going to go down between him. Turbo's going to have a hell of a shot at this title here as well. I mean, you got a couple guys out there. Hudson O'Neal, he's probably be one that's going to be fighting for this Lucas Oil title. There's a lot of things going to happen.
Is Davenport?
Davenport is, and I'm going to get into this too. Your defending champion, Jimmy Owens, not a good week at all. Almost every single night, and same thing for Davenport, did not have good weeks at all. It seemed like almost every single night they were in the work area for something. They just had horrible weeks going.
Yeah, and it's probably a good thing. I think the Florida swing here at the start off the year, I think they only take your best 5 finishes, so that might come to help them later on down the road in the coming weeks here.
Absolutely. If you crap the bed for 4 nights, though, does it really matter if they only take your top 3 or your top 5?
Well,
no.
Unfortunately, I think most of them, they crap the bed almost every single night at East Bay. And you still got tomorrow. You still got 2 more nights. You still got tomorrow night and Tuesday night at Bubba's yet that goes towards your final point total here for the Florida Speedway Championship. Now, I think that's for that. I don't know if that counts in to your overall Lucas point style. I think it's only for Florida Speed Weeks that they're counting this the best 5 races for.
Something like that.
Something like that. But anyway, but also on Thursday night, we got started off with the Short Track Super Series Big Block Modified down at Bubba's Racing Park. And let me say this. I was not sure what to expect at Bubba's. You know, we've seen some good races down there with the sprint cars, with the USAC Amstel National Sprint Car Series, with the All Stars. We've seen Lucas Oil put on some good shows down there. You know, we're going to see him down there coming up here tomorrow and Tuesday night here, but not really knowing what to expect with the Northeast Big Block, especially with the Bob Hilbert Sportswear Short Track Super Series. And what a performance this series put on down there. I mean, you had a talent there of the best Northeast guys went down there. They picked up what I believe 30, or sorry, they were over 30 cars, and I think they were close to the 40, if I'm correct, guys.
I believe might have been like 40 something. Hold on, let me check.
If somebody in the comments down there, they have any know what we're talking about here, if they remember a car count, but they had.
I will say this: I think you can attribute a lot of the growth in big blocks in the Southeast to what Brett Deo's done with the Short Track Super Series, where it used to be the Super Dirt Car Series, went to Volusia, did their thing for a week, came home. He's running down there almost twice a year when you count the Sunshine Swing in the spring and then the Cajun Swing in the fall. There's a lot of money going out the door there for guys running big blocks.
There sure is.
Then we just have one here. He said that they were. Go ahead, Pig.
46 modifieds and 37 crate sportsmen made the trip. That is damn impressive.
Incredible. That is incredible to have that many cars go down there. When Volusia, yeah, you would pick up somewhere around 40 for Super Dirt Car Series, but now at least the guys have some kind of incentive to come down early and race with Brett, get some good money out of it, and then you can either come home for the next couple of weeks and kind of chill out or just be done with it, or you stay down there, you're on Volusia coming up here in 2 weeks. I mean, I know that we're about a week behind on everything right now, so it's kind of weird scheduling, but still, I mean, to have 46 big blocks go down with you, and not even just big blocks. There were some guys running some spec ball blocks down there.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, you just hit the big one. My understanding is there were several cars that took spec small blocks that have no intention of running a spec small block with Deo all year. Mm-hmm. The reason is the 430 motor is what I'm hearing it described as. That 430 motor is what you have to run. It's not a true big block. It's not a true small block. It's that goofy open small block rule. These motors cost a ton of money, and it's going to be the eventual, I think, linchpin that hurts the whole Short Track Super Series operation.
Maybe, maybe not. I know a couple of years ago we were talking about putting together one of them open small blocks because we had a bunch of nonsense laying around the shop between heads and the bottom end, but we just never got around to it. But you figure, what, a good big block is probably looking somewhere around, what, in the 60 to 70 range. Maybe, if maybe a little less. I'm not entirely sure there. I know when we would get a motor done from Lombardo, it would be like roughly 25, somewhere in that neck of the woods. But
so just to make sure that we're doing the math here correctly, you can buy a brand new Chevy Corvette C8, or you can buy one big block motor to get you through half a season of Northeast Modified racing.
Yeah. Something.
That's
I
cost
could be a little
affordable.
off on that. I could be a little off in that price range there, but I'd imagine if a 410 sprint car motor is going, a good one's going for anywhere between 60 and 70. I'd imagine a big block modified for the Northeast is right around in the same neck of the woods.
We will get into that 410 motor here because something happened over this weekend here, and I think a lot of folks are interested about this, but we'll talk about that coming up here in a few minutes here. But anyway,
the Baby Yoda.
The Baby Yoda, yes, correct. That may debut this weekend. Anyway, let's get to the racing now because that spec small block, I think it worked on some of these slicked off tracks. But can we talk about that battle on Thursday night with Eric Rudolph and Matt Shepard and Stewie Friesen? Oh my Lord, that was just some great racing for 35 laps. or 30 laps after P. Britton completely just ate shit. I'm glad to see he's all right going down the
Yeah, that
back
was
straightaway
rough.
there, but that was a bad one. Glad he
Yeah.
walked away from it. He went to Rich Calara 8 the rest of the week, and was able to finish up the week with, hopefully they got 21 ready for down in Volusia, but still, after that, hats off to these boys for running 30 laps or clean and green after that incident. And at the end, it was Eric Rudolph, hold off Superman, Matt Shepard, Stuart Friesen, Max McLaughlin, and Mike Maresca going on there with your top five there. So you got pretty much an entire New York, main New York runners up there in your top five on first night here. But again, hats off to Eric Rudolph. Hell of a drive to go out there and get the win on Thursday night.
Yeah, for sure. And he's been running really, really good the last couple of years, no matter where he went, and it's paying off because he can throw haymaker slide jobs with the best of the best in the business, and it's really refreshing to see.
Can we give
Absolutely.
the shout out here to the chassis manufacturers and the parts and components guys? I know you kind of glanced over it. That Peter Britton wreck was one of the most violent I've ever seen in a big block, and not just able to walk away, but able to continue competing. Basically, different car, obviously, but that's just incredible. We talk about all the money that we're going to spend on motors. These guys are spending just as much on safety. So kudos to Tio, Bicknell, all the chassis manufacturers and the parts guys too.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Great point there. Because, without the safety innovations that were made in that, Peter Britton would not be walking away from that. And that was just an absolute it was a hellacious wreck. It was probably one of the worst wrecks we've seen, but there was one we'll talk about on Saturday night that was, I think, right up there with that bad. But again, it's one of those things where you have a strong car built and you spend as much money into safety as you do as going fast.
Mm-hmm. And that's the way it should be. Ideally, I would, if I were to ever field a race car, I would want to put more money hopefully put more money into the safety aspect of things.
Absolutely. So we'll stick at Bubba's on Friday night, where Stuart Friesen picked up his first win of the season in the 40-lap feature over Mike Maresca. Great run for Mikey Maresca there. Third place is Eric Rudolph. Fourth place was Max McLaughlin. Fifth place was a Franklin Flyer, Billy Decker. So again, you're looking at pretty much an all New York top five there. But Stewie Friesen, he just sailed on the field once he finally got out front there. But great job by Mike Maresca holding on there for a second place finish.
Yeah, absolutely. New team, second night out. They're already starting to gel, and he was running really great towards the end of last year. So it's nice to see the momentum that he built up for himself there, kind of continue over to this season so far.
Absolutely. I wonder what's going to happen now that he's in that 12K car. If he's going to be doing a little more, if he's going to be doing some late model stuff anymore, or if it's just going to be strictly looking at the modified.
That's a good question. Did he run a lot of late model stuff last year? Or did he just focus on the second car?
I've seen him a couple times at Port Royal. I've never seen him up there a few times when he could, and I think that kind of helped him out when the modifieds went up the port, and kind of curious to see what he's going to do. I'll have to have him on the show and talk to him about that down the road here. Anyway, so also on Friday night we kicked off the All-Star Circuit Championship by Mobile One. Their season at the Screven Motorsports Park down in Screven, Georgia, and Donnie Schatz goes out there with the Ford Performance car and kicks off his 25th season on tour here with a big win over Aaron Reitzel, Sunshine, Tyler Courtney, Carson Short, and Sam Haferteeth Jr. And Don, he looks so good on Friday night there, and it seemed to be a pattern this weekend. It started out with Sheldon Hanschild taking out the early lead, but Donnie just ran him down there, and also Sheldon, he got caught up in that first wreck there.
Stepped on it. But no, all jokes aside, done super fast out of the box, as much as we all hate to see it. Everyone hates a winner, but no. He's been super fast out of the box, and that
I love it.
Well, yeah, that Ford is humming.
Him and Tony, they were humming out in Arizona. They looked really strong out there to start the season.
They did.
at the Wild Wing shootout. They looked really good, and it's just
They did.
It carried over to this past weekend down Screven.
Absolutely did. I believe Smoke set a new track record out at Arizona, but yeah, them Fords, man, they've got them figured out now, and I think Donnie and Tony is going to be a force to reckon with this year wherever they race.
I think you're
Don't
going
forget,
to
Tony
see
picked to
that
win.
Ford motor be game changing. But how about the other one that has the capability to completely change the way we think about sprint car racing? The
Yeah, the
Celsius
Toyota
running
motor
TRD motors.
built. By the
That's
way,
a
that is built by Ryder too. That's a Ryder motor in that. So it's sick and local here, boys. So if you got the money for a TRD motor once they're available, Ryder Racing sounds like they're going to have it there. And it
I
struggled on
don't.
Friday night. They had troubles getting the B main, but then he looked so much better and so much more comfortable on Saturday night.
Yeah, he was really quick in hot laps and time trials on Friday night, and then for whatever reason, the heat race and the B main it kind of like fell down a little bit. But yeah, Saturday night that thing looked really really good. And
Absolutely. We'll get into Saturday night.
somebody said that the pricing on them TRD motors is actually going to be fairly competitive with. I mean, I don't know how true it is. That was just something I saw on the old interwebs
That's
the other
been
night.
the TRD model since they came into NASCAR. If you get a TRD motor, you're basically a TRD factory team of sorts. They give you a lot of support to make the motor affordable, and you're getting their engineering development people too. I mean, it's not a little change. Think about when Toyota came to NASCAR, 15 years ago, I guess, almost.
Yeah, something
They
like
were
that. Yeah.
not running at the front week in and week out in the truck series. Once they got their feet under them, holy cow. An
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
affordable
look at the
motor with
team.
huge engineering support, that could be game over
Well, I
for a
mean,
lot of people.
when they started out there, I mean, it was tough with them. I think Michael Waltrip, he was one of the first ones, and I forget. I think wasn't Joe Gibbs like he was one of the first big teams to really kind of go or to move over to Toyota, and they've just been dominating ever since they went in Toyota. But I think you might see actually, people are worried about this. There's a lot of people worried about what Toyota is going to do to the sport. I think it's going to help out if you're saying about maybe the cost effectiveness of this, Chris, because if it makes it more competitive, now we might be able to see guys like Don Ott get that Ford motor, or Ryder, you know, kind of be able to bring their costs down a little bit here and maybe make it a good engine war. So that way, there you could see more guys get into it at a maybe a more affordable cost instead of going out. You're still going to see how those guys drop 70 grand on your best 410 motor or what have you. But this might help kind of maybe level out the cost. Maybe I'm thinking a little, too, how do I want to say, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maybe I'm thinking a little too generously here at this and maybe on too much of the bright side. But I think this could actually be a good thing for the sport.
yeah, I think it could be a good thing for the sport too. But you're always going to have them like the old faithfuls of the sport. It's like, oh, it has to be a Mopar or a Chevy or a Ford. Toyota's not American made. You know that whole fucking bitch and complaint from
Well,
all the
I'm
old
not getting
heads
at
out
that
there.
thing.
But like,
What I'm
if you logistically think about it, TRD is actually more American made than the, most of the manufacturers to begin with.
right,
And I think a
but what
lot of
I'm
people don't realize that. But also the price
what
point
I
of it. Like, if I can go out and spend say 40 grand on a TRD that's gonna run just as good as that $70,000 Ford or Chevy, I'm gonna just buy two of those TRDs and call it a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You,
And I
you
think
add
if
you
you
add
can,
another you add another 10 grand to that to buy two of them TRD motors, and you still only have one Ford or Chevy.
yeah,
Like,
and that's what I'm getting at there is
if
that this
if
could
if
help
that's
drive
what the
the
price
price
point
down.
is.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And obviously, right now we're just so trying to see what's going to happen when. Uh, Obviously, Christopher Bell's probably going to have it when he comes back sprint car racing, whenever. But still, I mean, I'm liking what Gio did so far with this motor. I mean, it was a pretty solid weekend to start it out, Chris.
Yeah, and the part that gets me is TRD is not a develop it and forget it product maker. It's not like the
No.
602 Chevy crate motor where, yeah, Chevy's going to put a little money into developing it, but it's not a priority ticket item. The only reason TRD gets involved in 410 racing is because they see other markets for that 410 motor.
Well,
It's
see what
not
Ford has done with it.
purely a marketing exercise like NASCAR is. It's too niche of a market segment to develop a 410 motor just to put it in a handful of sprint cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Absolutely.
I think they've seen what Ford has done with it with Tony Stewart, and that Ford motor I believe is out for sale. So I'm hoping that some of these guys go out there buy this up here. But I mean, you're also going to have your guys going out there, your local guys, and still support them. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun over the next couple months to see what's going to transpire with this new Toyota 410 motor. But we saw some more racing going on down in Florida as we'll go back over to East Bay for the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series. And on Friday night, it was big, sexy Brandon Overton pick up the win over Tyler Bruning, T-Mac, Tim McCready, Devin Moran, and Shane Clanton, the Georgia Bulldogs. So both of Shane Clanton's cars, so Tyler Bruning and himself, they both made it into the top five there. But Brandon Overton, again, the consistent runs that keep going for big, sexy here. Again, like I said, holding on that orange spoiler there. He's a leader of the points right now with the Lucas Oil Series here. And if that consistency keeps up here, we're looking, I think, at a dogfight there to kind of Brandon Overton to be the new Lucas Oil champion here.
Yeah, I agree. Then again, like, are they going to dethrone the Davenports or the Owens? That's the big question.
Well, if Jimmy Owens doesn't get his shit together, then yes, they are going to. But it's been not a good start for Jimmy Owens to start the season.
It is a long season, my friend.
Very long season. So, also, I saw the comment down there about Goulart and Stewie. We'll get into that in a second here. But another incident took place on Friday night between Tyler Erb and Mason Ziegler, where Tyler Erb got disqualified for going up, and I've seen worse happen in modifieds and late models and sprint cars than what Tyler Erb got disqualified for. But the rules are the rules, and that's what they want to play. They're going to play by it. But you also see that a couple other places on Saturday night then, down at Volusia, or not Volusia, at East, or God damn it, get it right, Bert.
Bubba's, Bert.
Bubba's, thank you. And also at Screven, there's, some things happening down there, which we'll get into.
Just
but
a little bit.
Redemption, a little bit. Redemption though on Saturday night for Turbo Tyler Erb picking up the win and blowing kisses to the crowd, and I absolutely loved it.
Are you talking at Scriven, by the way, about the chicken wire fences by chance?
Oh my God! What?
That's a good point. We'll talk about that here on a little bit. And when we get back to Screven, I'm trying to figure out the best way to format this. But yes, anyway, Tyler picked up the win on Saturday night at East Bay for the last night over Jonathan Davenport, Brandon Shepard, T-Mac, Tim McCready, and Hudson O'Neill. And yes, let's move on now to the chicken wire fences at Screven on Friday night, where we saw who the hell was it that went up in the fence?
Drivers using fire extinguishers that they're finding to put out their own cars on fire. At a certain point, when do we have this discussion that, like, if you're going to have the All-Stars, the Outlaws, Lucas late models, whoever it is, pay for a security or a safety team to come in there for the night? I don't care what your back gate and your front gate is. If somebody leaves on a stretcher or worse, it's the negative PR hurts you worse than that safety team ever could.
Yeah, and that's a nice thing where you see like they bring down their own safety crew, or that crew from Knoxville, they come out and follow. I've seen them at Port Royal multiple times, or whenever the All Stars are in there, come in here for like Tuscarora 50 or whatever. But yeah, you gotta do better with some of the safety if you're bringing in a series to your track. Like, I expected better out of Screven just because they have run late models there and how they can get it up into the fence. And take that damn thing down. But I also, you know, you got to expect better out of these tracks, honestly. But unfortunately, I think we're also at the point where if we get to how do I want to word this here? Like, there's a lot. We're so lucky here in Central PA to have the tracks that their safety areas are top notch, and unfortunately, it took some events to get to them. But we're so lucky. But not a lot of the other countries get to see this kind of racing, and they also don't have to deal with cars in the fence a lot too. So I think that's one of those things where you really got to kind of look at, like, if we're going to go down south, you've got to know the risks that are going along with it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, everybody knows the risk you take when you walk into a racetrack, whether it be a fan, driver, owner, crew member. I mean, heck, one of the announcers can somehow get hurt by just simply falling down a flight of steps somewhere. But like a lot of these tracks, they have to do better. Like, if you see a loose board somewhere, fix it. If you might not have the money right now to put in an actual catch fence, but save for it. Like it's real nice to see. I believe BAPS just finished having the catch fence put in all the way around, which kudos to them for taking the safety initiative there. I mean, they're slowly becoming one of the top notch facilities in the country. Well, not even slowly, pretty rapidly actually.
All right, Bert, I think we lost your mic, buddy.
I muted so I could cough and not get yelled at.
Oh.
Well, don't forget.
Well,
to
then
turn
you
it back
started
on
talking again, dumbass.
Well, thank you.
You forgot to turn it on, Chief.
I accept that award with great pride that I am a dumbass. I've been called that for 27 years, folks. Got to keep the streak going. Anyway, so yeah. So what I was saying is that Williams Grove, Lincoln, Port Royal, BAPS, they have all done a great job with safety and trying to improve that. And it got BAPS enough that this week they announced that they're finally getting their Speed Week race, and everyone won it. So congrats, way to go, Alan Kreitzer, Scott Gobrecht, everyone, Colton Gauss, everyone at BAPS. Congratulations on getting your Speed Week race, guys. We cannot wait for that race coming up in July here. And we'll get into another one after we get finished through these results here. Another 410 race is going to be happening in the Scoop coming up in August.
Don't you say it. We're not even going there. We're not even going there. I'm not talking about it.
I know. But we got to give a shout out to him because I am very happy to see this happening. I am. And we're getting on good terms. We're going to be on good terms with this track.
I'm genuinely happy to see it, but
the schedule looks great, by the way.
It does.
Let's finish up with our results here. Anyway, last night, back down at Scrap Motorsports Park, Aaron Reitzel, new team, new car, same result with the All-Stars. He goes up, picks up his 37th career win over Kyle Reinhardt, Sam Haferteeth Jr., Donnie Schatz, and Justin Peck. That better be for Reinhardt and also Schatz. I know a lot of people went out there and said, "Oh, Schatz, went up, got the from the B main after missing the scales." In his heat, had to go run the B after making a dash. Him missing the scales put Gio Scelzi in a dash, and then I know it's a little weird that whole
missing the scales.
Yeah.
Are we putting that one in big fat air quotes?
Missing the scales. Come on, Albert.
Hey, I'm just saying what Blake was saying on the broadcast. That's all. I'm just going off my notes. Whatever.
Let's call it what it is. He dropped some weight.
Anyway,
and then put it back on.
Whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so he was a hell of a show, but my mind to go out and see Kyle Reinhardt in the Quackenbush number 91 car go out there his second time out with the All-Stars in his rookie season, goes out, gets second place, and he was running down at Reitzel. If they get that yellow at the line, I think we could be talking about, a nice little battle at the end there between Reinhardt and Reitzel, because Reinhardt was very fast at the end of that race.
He was, and he looked really good all night. like really good. So hats off to him, and they got that team rolling.
Yeah, they definitely found some speed in that car there, and just hats off to them. And Justin Peck too. Um, second night out with the Boot 13, the Misfits going out, giving it his all, and goes out get a fifth place run there at Screven. So good for him. But again, what can you say? Aaron Reitzel, he just has the All Star field figured out. It seems like, but are we going to be seeing? Is this a little bit of a precursor of things to come here with him in that Roth car and seeing what he did with that Bachman car in the last couple of years?
I was going to say that becomes the interesting thing is how does that success translate to the Outlaws? We know he's not running the full season with the All-Stars. He's going outlaw racing. Is Reutzel able to keep that going up all year?
Well, Reitzel is good. Reitzel is a very, very good driver, and a lot of these tracks he has a good bit of experience at, and he has won at these tracks before. I think he has a couple outlaw wins out in the California area here. He's run so well, especially up and down the East Coast with the All Stars. He sees a lot of these tracks that the Outlaws are going to go to. It's very curious to see what's going to happen when they get into that upper Northwest or out in the what California swing, that Midwest swing where the all up in the Dakotas too, where the Outlaws go, where the All Stars don't. But Reitzel, we're probably looking at a top 5 points finish out of Aaron Reitzel this year in the Outlaws. I really feel like I think there's probably at least 7 to 8 wins in there. I think he probably gets a win in Pennsylvania too, because how good he runs out here with the All Stars, and especially when again Ohio, I could see him probably picking up a couple wins there. It wouldn't shock me to go out and see him pick up a win at Volusia either.
Yeah, that's true, and Volusia's very wide open. One hell of a racetrack, always fast, always puts on absolutely phenomenal racing. But I think he's really going to shine in the Midwest. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think he's really going to shine out in
DoorDash.
refreshments. But no, I think he's going to shine out in the middle part of the country, Ohio, Indiana, definitely tracks he's seen before. I think he may struggle at other tracks throughout the country, but I mean, it's a long season. I'm sure at some point he's going to have that lull point where, the confidence is down a little bit, but they'll find it because he's bringing over his crew chief from the 87. So there's already a little bit of gel, well, not a little bit, a whole lot of gel between them two. And then you put in, you're going from one top-notch ride to an even better ride, in my opinion, for the iconic 83 car. So
I don't know.
I think
that Bachman car, they had that thing humming a lot. So I mean, I think
it
it's just
was
going from one good ride to another.
How do I want to word this? It's not that the Bachman car is bad, but how do I say this without pissing people off? The All-Stars are good, but the Outlaws are better. Plain and simple. I mean, and see, I can see you squinting over there.
Don't hold it back. Come on, get it all out, buddy.
I don't know. The All-Stars doesn't have the field of competition that the Outlaws do night in and night out. In my opinion. I'll say that so nobody gets butthurt about it.
Put that disclaimer in there. See, in my mind, I think it's equal. It's pretty close because the All-Stars are your weekend warriors, the ones that you work Monday through Thursday and then you go chase the All-Stars on the weekend. That's why it's such a nice series to run with, and a lot of guys from Ohio.
It is, and definitely nothing against it.
Right. But
yeah, and
I think the out level is just as good. You got guys like Corey Eliason out there, Justin Peck. What else you got there? You got guys like, again, Kyle Reinhardt. He's going to be running for full points. Brent Marks, what he's done the last couple of years on the Outlaws. Now he's going to go chase the All-Star title here with CJB Motorsports. Now that's going to be a pretty solid team going up there. I just think that they got we got two good series going on right now, your national series. And I get what you're saying there. But I think that the
Okay,
talent level, if you put them side by side, the talent level is right there with the guys that are touring
yeah,
between both series.
this year,
And you
yes,
got
and that's
Sunshine
even
too,
with
to
the
win an All-Star
exception.
title.
Yeah, this year I will 100% agree with you. But years past, in my opinion, the Outlaws field has been tougher than the All Star field. But in
I
the
agree.
same aspect, like you said, the All Stars are the weekend warriors, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while they'll pop in a midweek show, but it's not all the time. Where the All Stars or where the Outlaws, I mean, sorry, are running 3, 4, sometimes 5 nights a week.
Right.
You know, like I
Yeah.
mean, like that. If you're gonna race and you want to race 90 times a year, go outlaw racing. If
If
you're
you
a
have the
guy
money.
like us that can, yeah, if you're a guy like us, have a budget to do 60 races, then absolutely run with the All Stars. They're both great series, but I think the All Stars this year have the best field of competition than they've had in a long time, and that's even with taking Reitzel out of it.
Well, and I was just going to say there is that a guy like Aaron Reitzel made that All Star series a very competitive series and really helped put it on the map because you have a series here that never won at Williams Grove. They never beat the Posse until Reitzel came in there and beat the Posse with them up until a few years ago. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's guys like him that make that series better. Now you got guys like Corey Eliason who has come in here has done very well in Central PA. Put this
yeah.
make a run at this title here.
The Reitzel and the Eliason, those two came into that series and 100% made that series more competitive, no matter where they went.
I
And
agree.
same with Donnie Schatz and the Outlaws. When Donnie and Gravel and now you can throw Sheldon and Schuhart into the mix, you know, those boys are on their game, and you know what you're going to get from them every night. Every night.
Absolutely.
Same
But
same,
so
same with
anyway,
Eliason and Reitzel.
absolutely. So let's finish up last results of the weekend here. We'll go back over to Bubba Motorsports Park, whatever the hell they call it down in Ocala. And what a race this was last night between Mikey Goulart and Billy Decker, Eric Rudolph, Stuart Friesen. Again, Bubba lived up to everything that was just it lived up to the hype. And James Parsons says down here in our comment section here, what about Stewart and Goulart? That was a hell of a battle there at the end there. In my opinion, it looked like Stu came down on Goulart and went up, pulled a wheelie, and then put it in a tire barrier going down to one. Again, back to the safety aspect of these cars here. Phenomenal job
If there
building a very
was,
safe car that Stu was able to get out of that car and walk away. Also, Bubba's, they're not expecting cars really to go up to that spot there where the opening is going into turn one, but they had the tire barriers there, so hell of a job by them. Safety aspect of the track there too. Johnny on the spot too was a safety crew there trying to help Stu get out of the car, and he was pissed. I mean, I don't blame him, but then again, and from what it looked like, he came down onto Mikey. That was my opinion
I
anyway.
I think they're both kind of at fault. I
Hey
mean,
Chris, turn your mic on.
I say turn your mic on, dummy. I want to interject here just a second because Friesen's a NASCAR guy now. As much as he's the king of dirt in here in the Northeast, or one of them anyway, he's in NASCAR a lot. He's gotten the PR training. He should have gotten out of the car when they asked him what happened, say, I got to see a replay first.
Mm-hmm.
Don't run your mouth. Don't be a hothead. Don't post something on social media.
mm-hmm.
You got to know what actually happened before you're going to run your mouth on something, because in a worst case scenario for him, it was a racing deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or a best case scenario, I should say. It was a racing deal. In a worst case scenario, he screwed up and just admit it. Yeah, I'm human. I made a mistake. But don't go
yeah,
running
like
your mouth on something like that. That's ridiculous.
yeah, like we're all human. Like if you fuck up, own it. Like I'm not saying that he did, but there could they both have been at fault for that? Yeah. Did Mike come up the track a little bit? Maybe. Did Stewart go down the track? More than likely. But either way, like you said, Chris, watch a replay before you go all hot headed on it and ruin your reputation. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's not going to lose fans over it. I'm sure. I mean, he's Stuart goddamn Friesen for that matter. He's and for us modified guys, he's kind of like our hero for just from where he's come from and where he's gone and where he currently is. Like everyone in that field wishes they had were in his shoes and got the race in the truck series, but that Hamar Friesen racing deal,
Hey,
How about the other one that happened supposedly? I'm hearing somewhere between shenanigans and mild fisticuffs between Jimmy Horton, who I'm pretty sure Chuck Norris's mom had a one-night stand with Jimmy Horton, and Matt Shepard. Like, is there a guy in the pit area that you want to fight less than Jimmy Horton?
No, you do not go after Jimmy Horton. He's such a badass.
No, apparently Horton went after Shepard.
Well, no, it's still, but he deserved it. You don't flip off Jimmy Horton. This is the man that walked out of a wreck at Talladega and said, "Get the backup car out."
Yeah, my favorite quote about that one was, you fucked up when the first guy that gets to you after a wreck is carrying a beer.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But anyway, yes, if you don't know what we're talking about, folks, Horton and Shepard, they were just dogging each other last night during the heat races here. And all of a sudden you hear Chris Moore come out and say, well, I believe Shepard has given Jimmy Horton the one-finger salute. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, that is one thing you do not do to Jimmy Horton. Jimmy Horton will come up there and probably kick your ass. And whatever happened in the pits happened. I mean, I'm not sure what all happened, but
it sounded like Matt Shepard got his ass kicked.
Well, I mean, you don't flip off Jimmy Horton. Simple as that. It's like you don't mess around with that song Jim Croce wrote. You don't mess around with Jim. It was wrote about Jimmy Horton.
Yeah.
Drink, Adam.
No, that was a song reference. It wasn't a movie reference.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Oh, sorry. Well, anyway, there we are. But that's a good one. That was a good one. You do not mess around with Jimmy. You don't mess around with Jimmy Horton. But either way, let's go back to the winner as we finally got a win for Pennsylvania here. Mikey Goulart picked up the win last night over Eric Rudolph, Billy Decker, Tyler Seary, and Matt Shepard. And I tell you what, Mikey, he had the car to beat last night, and Billy Decker, he was giving everything he absolutely could last night in that race. What a hell of a drive by Mikey Goulart to get the win last night.
I will say this. I am really looking forward to this season, both Short Track Super Series and Super Dirt Car. Mm-hmm. In years past, you had 2 or 3 guys who probably could win. Even in the last handful of years, it was Shepard or Friesen, one of those two was taking the win. I think we legitimately could have anywhere from 5 to 10 cars with a realistic shot at victory lane on any given night.
Yeah,
you're talking damn near half the field has a shot at a win. That's going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Parego's been bad fast since he brought out the Bicknell, I believe. There was a couple other that switched from either T.O., Troyer, Higfab, or over to Bicknell, and for whatever reason, man, them Bicknells are wicked fast.
Yeah, Mikey Maresca had a hell of a week, too. He was looking strong all week long. Pouchy Jr., I think last night was his worst night, but he still looked fast all week long. I mean, there was a lot to see this past week. And you're right, Chris. I still think it's going to be hard to beat Shepard on both these series, between the Short Track Super Series and Super Dirt Car Series. It is going to be very hard to beat him just because of how good he is now. But also, when the nights at Stu's not there, it's going to be tough to compete against him, I think. But I think we might be seeing a change in the guard where these guys are starting to get faster and faster, and they're going to find ways to go out there and beat these guys. And now, I'm not saying they're going to go out to Florida and beat a guy like Stu. It's going to be hard to beat him at a place like Volusia where he's been so good for so many years. But, we get in some of these tracks here up in the Northeast, like you maybe get Super Dirt Car race up at Albany, Saratoga here. You might go out. You might see Tim Fuller get the win finally over a guy like Shepard. Or else you go to down to Delaware International or Georgetown where Shepard or Stu is just dominate. Billy Jr. may go out there get the win in the on the Melvin Joseph's Memorial, or else Bassett to Beach or something like that. So we could be seeing a change in the guard here coming up here in the next few years. I think with these guys going to get bigger and better. But this year, I don't know how you beat Shepard in either of these series. I think it's going to be really, really tough to beat Shepard.
If he's on his game. I mean, not saying that he's not. He's very meticulous. The way he prepares his cars. There's nights when he'll roll it out of the trailer and not touch it, other than to maybe put a new set of tires on it, because he's just that well prepared. It's absolutely insane the amount of knowledge that man has. I think he also has an engineering degree, so I'm sure that plays a big factor into how he does his things. But
there's a lot of guys like that, though.
Yeah,
come on now. I mean, Scott Deal's an engineer. We can't really give engineers that much credit, can we?
That's true. Very true. Oh, I'm sure he's flipping us off.
So we're going there tonight.
Wait,
Chris, what are you sending us? Jesus Christ!
Oh boy.
Why?
Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be tough, I think, to beat them guys coming up here. But I want to touch on something here quick. Back with when we were talking about in the middle of the show here with the track that picked up a 410 race this season, Big Diamond, August 13th, picks up the
they've picked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that schedule,
okay.
Schedule is good.
Can we?
Yeah.
Can I ask why? I know Big Diamond needs a 410 race. That's a given. It's Nationals week.
Well, here's the thing.
What?
It's for the guys that don't that can't afford to go to Knoxville. I mean,
thank you, guys.
I'm pissed off because I'm not gonna be at Big Diamond to see it.
Yeah.
The 410s always put on a great race. Any sprint car race for that matter puts on one hell of a race. But the one and only time that I'll probably ever get the goddamn chance to go to Knoxville, and they decide to put a 410 race at Big Diamond. Go fucking figure.
But I get it, though, because it kind of – Selinsgrove did this the last couple of years where they run the Friday night of the Knoxville Nationals just to give the guys to run that run out here weekly a chance to go run. I think Babs even ran Saturday night a couple of years ago. I think that's when Macri picked up the win down there. They ran on Saturday night of the Knoxville Nationals. And it just gives the guys – and Lincoln, they run Saturday night of the Knoxville Nationals. It just gives the guys that are local here that don't go out to Knoxville a chance to go race. And I am super happy to see Big Diamond take advantage of that, because that's an opportunity to get – you'll probably get – because the Grove's not running, so you'll probably get 30 cars at Big Diamond that night.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. It's a decent payday.
Yeah, it pays through the field. But if I'm right there, I think it's $5,000 a win, or 4 to 5. But still,
I think it's either awesome. 4,500 or 5. It does, because not everyone has the money to go out and run Knoxville Nationals. I mean, yeah, you would love to. I mean, I think that should be on everyone's bucket list as a racer to go out. Who has the money to travel for 15, 16 hours in a rig as a local guy now? 15, 16 hours in a rig with the cost of diesel fuel, and it's only going to skyrocket, and we're not even going to go into politics tonight, but the price of fuel is going to fucking skyrocket here. But, who has the money to do that shit? Other than the teams with a lot of sponsorship behind them.
Right.
I understand all of that logic. Mm-hmm. I hope for the 410 guys' sake who don't go to Knoxville, I hope every seat in those grandstands is full that night at Big Diamond, because they deserve that big show. That's my only worry is Is the sprint car fan from central Pennsylvania going to travel to Big Diamond to see the 410s on the night
Yes.
that the Knoxville Nationals are running?
Well, you got to realize it's Friday night in Knoxville, so it's a hard knocks night. So it's kind of the night where, all
You've
right, you're gonna
already
have
seen
guys.
everyone run.
Yes, and also I think that people have been wanting a race at Big Diamond. Selinsgrove, they've had this race the last couple of years, and they've gotten a really nice crowd out at Selinsgrove on a Friday night for this race. So I'm not worried about the crowd. I think you'll get people from all over come into the scoop and for this race here. I think your real kind of test on this is what the crowd's going to be like on April 23rd when the USAC National Sprint Car Series are out there.
Yes,
That'll show you where Central PA will come up. And even though, yes, I believe the Grove's running Friday night, but you'll still have people running or coming up to Big Diamond because it's USAC. And just like same reason, you got people coming to Big Diamond because it's the 410s.
But here's the thing. I've seen on social media a lot of people from central Pennsylvania are going to Bristol.
Yes.
That might hurt the crowd at Big Diamond simply because of me personally. I would love to go see USAC. I'm a big USAC fan. I love the wingless sprint cars. But in the same aspect, it's been 20 years since we've seen dirt on Bristol. People are going to Bristol in droves.
My hope is that this show is good enough that it allows USAC to come in for a second Easter Storm every year, and then we get Big Diamond, Grandview, Susky, Path Valley on the schedule because we're coming home Sunday early. We're going to Path Valley for that Sunday night show. I don't give a shit what we have to do. If we have to get,
we don't even have to leave early, dude. It's like I think when we looked it up, from Bristol to where we live is 9 hours. For us to get from Bristol to Path Valley, it's only like 7. Like,
yeah,
sign me up. We are going to Path on the way home.
Hey, there's another thing I want to talk about in this Big Diamond. We got a super late model show there too. May 7th, the ULM Zimmer Silver Center's ULMS series going out there for $3,000 to win. And I talked with a couple people with some late model series here, and we get to see not only is there you got the super show there, but you're also going to get a couple limited late model shows there, and there's a lot of people super excited about that, Chris. And I tell you what, just that Big Diamond schedule, Jake, Jasmine, Casey, everyone out
definitely.
there, hats off.
Hats off.
There are some very, very cool things coming out of coal country. And
there is.
I think we're starting to see the gap close a little bit where I'm an Eastern Pennsylvania guy, have been almost my entire life. Mm-hmm. To me, State College is Western Pennsylvania. Port Royal is Western PA. And it's really not. We're seeing the gap close between Central PA, Eastern PA, and New Jersey. Between Big Diamond and Bridgeport, every weekend of the year, you could go to both of those tracks, Friday and Saturday night, and see something off the wall insane. You still have Grandview as an option. You still have New Egypt as a very good option, but we have 2 tracks from Harrisburg East, we'll say, that are trying to do some of the things that BAPS and Lincoln and especially Port Royal have done in terms of increasing fan amenities, diversifying the show. I don't know that there is a better place in the country to see dirt racing right now than in Pennsylvania.
No. Outside of Iowa, I mean, what they got going on between Knoxville and Huset's, I mean,
Huset's is in South Dakota.
And Jackson, too. Well, that Midwest region, kind of where you got Jackson.
You're talking 10 hours, potentially. I mean, it's a long drive. It's 8 from Des Moines to Minneapolis.
Right, but what they're doing out there is almost the same thing between the fan amenities, the racing, the schedules that they're putting together. It's the only closest thing in the country that you're going to see to what Central PA is doing. You get where I'm at here now?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because the traditional hotbeds of California, Texas, Florida are, I will say, definitively losing ground to the Midwest, to the upper Midwest and the Northeast. We can't ignore places like Orange County that They might not be dumping as much in terms of amenities into it, but they also have, it's sort of the charm of the old place.
Yes.
A lot of around the country, we're seeing racetracks go out of business. I mean, hell, West Virginia Motor Speedway is coming back. That place looks incredible.
We need
Yeah.
to get there. I mean, that place looks so badass with the racing they're going to be putting up there this year. That's what I think one that we would. I think we got to try and find a date to go down there. If not this year,
Yeah.
next year. Try. I hope that would be just to see the 5/8 again. I mean, I know that they're going to be ripping down there, but still, oh, the place it just looks beautiful. The amount of work that they've done down at the West Virginia Motor Speedway.
Let's not forget on that subject that there are things that they're also doing for media members, and it's not all fan facing, but the safety aspects that we're seeing, the improvements for the competitors, we're seeing a lot of benefits for media members as well, that they're making it easy for us to come to them. That's something that even the micro tracks in our area, they're going to have to start doing. This is not the old days of we have a racetrack so people are going to come see us. You have to make life easy for everybody, whether that's how you're going to time the show out, when you're going to advertise the show starts and all that kind of stuff, even to making things work nicely for media that want to come cover you. The game is changing, and we're seeing the tracks that are most accommodating are the ones that are benefiting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Chris, while we got you on here, let's have you talk about, you know a lot more about this than Adam and I did. I got to watch a little bit. The Daytona 20, the Rolex 24 at Daytona, coming down the last 5 minutes, and you are within a half a second at Daytona prototype. What? 23 hours and 55 minutes, and you are within a half a second of each other? What?
Yeah, I will be the first guy to say that I think the modern sports car endurance races have become a little bit too reliable. We don't see some of the big mechanical failures. I mean, years ago, Dan Gurney at one point parked his car on the front stretch with something like 90 minutes to go, and he had such a big lead that the clock ran out and he pushed it the 10 feet across the finish line. You don't see that anymore. But what we got was 23 hours and 55 minutes of sprint racing in these insane prototypes. Multiple classes had, I think 4 of the 5 classes had 3 or more cars on the lead lap after 24 hours.
Wow.
Chip Ganassi went from half a second back from claiming another Rolex to his car finishing 5th in class, almost a lap down, because they had to make a pit stop to change a right rear tire. It was absolutely incredible.
And that was his return to endurance racing too, correct? That was
correct. Yeah, they had the GT40 program that went out. I guess they took 2020 off, basically. 2019 was the last year for the GT40. They only got this car 6 weeks ago, I think. That's how battle-proven the Acuras are. I mean, it was
the winner too. They just made the change from Acura not only a couple weeks ago because they finished up Sebring, and then they went pretty much start working right on the change to Acura. I think I heard on the broadcast.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, they the Wayne Taylor Racing Team has campaigned Cadillacs since Cadillac came back into DPI. They got their Acura, same thing, I guess about 6 weeks ago. And Wayne Taylor is borderline psychotic on the preparation side of things. He handles all the lettering for the cars. He puts the sponsor logos on the race cars by hand. Wow. They wrap it, they do the whole thing, but the car owner comes in and does that. That's how important that branding is to him. Every little detail is ironed out. Actually, I was just pulling up the article here as you started to mention it, because one of the Corvettes in GT Le Mans actually had a driver test positive for COVID during the race.
Okay.
So he was yanked from the car after like 17 hours or something like that. And now the whole team has had to go into quarantine and all this stuff. And they won the Rolex 24, but he doesn't get to go to Victory Lane to claim the trophy and take the pictures. And it just sucks.
How in the hell can you test positive during the race? Like, shouldn't you have your results back? I don't know, maybe
he tested positive every day up to this test that came back today.
Oh.
So the IMSA rule has been test every day. And every day up to today, the tests were all negative. It could be a false positive, but it's still one of those where the dude spent 17 hours in the car with the team around everybody, and Victory Lane just goes away. It's heartbreaking.
That is. Speaking of heartbreaking, the Porsches too. They have a shit start.
Yeah, it was a mess for a lot of teams.
What was that Daytona? Was that GT Daytona or was that GT?
I think they had issues in both, because I know the Turner cars in GT Daytona were a mess. They should have won that race going away. Turner is by far the best funded team in GTD. They were a mess almost from the beginning. GT Le Mans, they wrecked. They didn't even get to the green flag.
That's what I was talking about. The Porsche, yeah.
That one was a mess. It was a lot of teams had issues that you don't ordinarily see. It was at one point, I guess it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, the number 5 Mustang sampling prototype got absolutely creamed from behind, took out one of the Porsches that was in front of him. It was just a mess. Ordinarily, stuff that you would expect to see in iRacing, we were seeing in the real world. And before we get off the subject of sports cars, how about the shout out to the MX5 race on Thursday, I guess it was. Dude was leading off of turn 4, Daytona NASCAR 4, and finished 8th by less than a second.
I wasn't sure what I was watching when you sent that video. Was it? Were we watching?
That's Global MX5 Cup.
Yeah,
that's rookie cars on iRacing.
Daytona 500. Like that's what it looked like. It looked like you're coming to the line for the 500. I'm a little interested now in this endurance racing type stuff. Now you got me interested in watching this, especially after some badass racing this past weekend that they put out.
It was a ton of fun. The whole Rolex 24 weekend is always incredible, but the list of names of drivers that have won an Indy 500 and a Rolex 24 is only about 12 to 15 names deep, and we added 2 to the list today, with Elio Castroneves and Alexander Rossi taking the overall win. Rossi is the driest human being on earth, and the world's best case of resting bitch face. He makes Morgan Rochelle look like an amateur. And
oh God, Morgan!
We love you, Morgan. She's such a sweetheart. But the stuff that her mom posts on Facebook is just wonderful. Anyway, Alexander Rossi is dry, almost insufferable. He looked miserable in Victory Lane. I guarantee you the entire city of Daytona Beach is tuned up tonight on Alexander Rossi.
Oh, probably.
He still has F1 in his veins a little bit. You don't look happy, you don't look sad, you don't look mad, you're very corporate, you're very Yeah. So, but the Rolex weekend was incredible, and now they're off until March. Yeah. They come back for Sebring. Yes.
Well, it's kind of like the late model series. I mean, they're going to be off after Tuesday. Lucas Oil late models are off till
everybody.
Almost outside the World of Outlaws. They're the only ones that really keep going.
Yeah, we're going to run out of content to talk about.
Oh hell no! Because when we're done down in Florida, we're racing up here, baby. It's racing season's here. It's a glorious time.
Did anyone happen to see the news out of PenCan today that they're putting together their biggest purse in track history, like a $40,000 purse for modifieds in like August at some point? I think I saw it was.
I wonder what that's going to pay.
I know it. I think 10 to win.
Because
If I read
40,000
it
for
right
a
there.
purse, that's not that much if you think about
But
it.
we're talking
For a
pen
small check like
can, my
Bitcoin,
guy.
yes, that's a good bit. But yeah,
Hold
okay,
on.
I get what you're saying. Small,
Let
but
me
still,
let me pop it up quick.
yeah, pull it up here. But still, 40,000 for a purse. I mean, that's. I mean, I guess you're just
Pen
spoiled
can
here in Central
biggest payday in track history just released. Mark your calendar, September 25th, $40,000 purse from Modifieds. Hold on, let me.
September 25th. Okay, month of money, baby.
Sorry if you hear. Sorry if you hear four-wheelers outside. The good old idiots of my wonderful town are tormenting the streets. Then again, back in the day, I was one of those idiots.
You were
But
one of
hey,
those little hellions.
Saturday, the 25th, Modifieds, 10,066 to win, but it's only 300 to take to green. Like, where's the rest of the fucking purse going?
I hope it's spread out pretty decently through the field.
That is a big drop off. From
That is.
300 to take the green, 10 grand to win. Like, what the fuck? I mean, good on
That's,
Pencan for putting money together, but still.
I think we talked about this a lot. Is that I've said about this before? Is that if you're going to have these tracks and you want to have these monster purses, stop putting so top heavy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
pay the field.
pay the
I'd rather
field
see
exactly. Make it.
I'd
I'd rather
rather
see a
see an
5,000
8
win
grand,
show.
even
I
8 grand for that matter. I'd rather see an 8 grand to win show, and 1,000 to take the green. Like,
yeah.
you're putting all this money into the fucking purse. Like, make it worth people's whiles.
Yeah, I
I will
agree.
say this: the purse for Lanko's $10,000 to win race this year, I think with it's like 100 or 125 cars, it pays 1,000 to start.
See, now that's great.
That's
That's
now you're in the ballpark of, yeah, we're going to bring. That's a race that I can see it turning into 200 cars on the entry field really, really easily. You can pay heavy up front all you want. If the guy who starts last is going to see his normal paycheck, what's the point? You've got
because if you look at
5 cars that can compete for 10 grand. Great.
when
Wonderful.
you have these tracks that go top heavy on the purse, it drives me up the fucking wall. Places do this stuff. Like it's paid through the field. You'll get more cars there. I feel like and I think we talked about this. Like as Adam said here, I'd rather see them pay a 5 grand to win race, where you pay that. Wait, then you pay what? Maybe like I don't know, 600 to start, 500 to start. Then at that point, but it's paying better through the field. Then it said 10 grand to win, 2,000 for second. Like
Something that gets missed a lot is qualifying cars. If you're going to sell heat races and consies as part of your show, which is what every racetrack does, you have to pay a bunch at the back of the field because then these guys are going to risk life and limb to get that last spot in the show. If you're going to
right.
pay
Yeah.
10 grand to win and you're going to pay 100 to start, I'm not risking my car for $100 because you're not going to win 10 grand from last.
No, if you're
No.
paying 10 grand, you should pay minimum 500 to start.
At
A
least.
minimum, and 1,000 for 10.
Like,
At least 1,000 for 10.
prime example. A regular Super Dirt Car Series show has paid the same amount to win for, I don't know, the last 30
37
years.
years.
Yeah. Like, come
For
on,
100 odd
man.
features, you're paying. And now look what
Yeah.
Deo's doing. Deo is going out there and revolutionizing this whole pay structure. I mean, it's incredible what Brett's been able to do. He understands. All right, 5,000 to win. Normally it's five, or what is it? About 500 to start. You get 1,000 for 10th or whatever. But Deo is paying so well through the field. That's why he's getting so many more cars. And these New York guys, I don't know why they keep settling for it. It's the same thing with the Western PA guys too. I don't know why the hell they keep settling for it, but they almost don't have a choice if they want to go racing. And you have a chance to race for more, but yet I understand why you want to say local because that turnpike. I talked to DJ Flick about this multiple times. It's just kicking his ass left and right with that turnpike fees that he pays. But he still comes run Port Royal because it pays better than what anywhere else does on a Saturday night. If it wasn't for, he told me multiple times that if it wasn't for the 6-hour tow to the Grove, he'd come out here run the Grove Friday night, but he just doesn't get off work on time to come out here. But still, it's the fact of is that there's money to be made in this sport, but yet there's so many old heads out there that are so set in their ways that they won't change, and that's a problem.
That's a very big problem. I mean, we have to get younger as the promoters and the track owners. They have to think like we do. I mean, yeah, I'm sure we might not have the greatest of ideas on how to run a fucking racetrack because we've never been in that position.
Well, one of us.
But in the same aspect, you know, like you gotta update with the times. You know, it's the times are a changing.
I have railed on this, and we talked a little bit about it after the Chili Bowl, but you have to advertise a start time for features. You have to give the family of four an opportunity to say, we're going to be at the racetrack at 8 o'clock, and we're going to see features. I don't care if you have to start at noon. That's not my problem. If that means you can't run 7 classes in a given night, if you need 7 classes to make your back gate for your feature, you've got bigger problems than you could ever dream of.
That's fair.
We are in a market now where this is going to be really challenging on the racetracks because the immediate answer is sell a sponsor. Just sell another sponsor. I understand the racetracks that can't afford a full-time sales team. You almost have to have it in this day and age. But when you consider the fact that Coke, Pepsi, and Budweiser have all not run a Super Bowl ad this year, what does that tell you about the state of our economy, that the biggest brands on the planet are foregoing the potential of hundreds of millions of eyeballs? So
yeah,
it's not easy. If that means you have to tell the racers you got to take a pay cut, then so be it. That means you can't rebuild the $70,000 big block motor every 5 races. Everybody has to find a way to pinch pennies to get through this period that we're in now, because when advertisers will see the fans coming back, they will see who the most loyal fans in sports are and who values the people that support their passion. So if you're a mom and pop pizza shop, you're darn right you want to be advertising on the Hustle. You want to be advertising on our NRN broadcast because we're the cheapest thing you can get. But it doesn't change the fact that the sport has to evolve. 4 classes is too many on a given night. Probably should be 2, but I'll give you 3.
That's the biggest downfall of Big Diamond. They have put together a absolutely wonderful schedule, super diverse, but in the same aspect, is there really a need for 5, 6 divisions?
Not on a Friday night, especially if you have to work on a Saturday. There's not a need for 5. 6,
I'm okay if you're going to run 5 divisions and you run your headliners first.
Show. But they don't start until fucking 8 o'clock.
Right. They don't start anything until 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That means if your advertised time for features is midnight, kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
You are going to turn off the casual fan completely.
Yes. If you're going to run 5 divisions, start hot laps at 6 o'clock. Heat races at 7. Like,
too late.
Well, yeah, even for that, but still.
I'll say on a Friday night. If you want to do that on a Friday night, that's okay because of people getting off work. But still, I mean,
it doesn't change the fact if you start hot laps at 6 on a Friday night with 7 divisions on the card, you will not turn a feature race green flag lap until after 11 o'clock. There's no possible way to do it.
Yeah.
the days of 5, and I think we talked about this before. The days of 5 and 6 division shows, they're dead. Nobody wants to sit through that. If you want to do this on a Friday night, you run your modifieds, your sportsmen's, and your roadrunners. There's your three division. You run your three divisions on Friday night. Your three main divisions. Then you
Mhm.
don't. I just don't think you need the rest for all of them. If you're going to have like on a night where you have late models there, the night super late models are there, you run the modifieds with them, or else you run. I think you run the modifieds with any big show you have there. That's just more money you're bringing into the gate,
Yeah,
and
that
more people
the
you have stay
modifieds, the modifieds at Big Diamond are the money earner.
there. Yes.
Plain and
Can we
simple.
also call it like it is a lot here? How many people are in the grandstands or watching television for a Camping World Outdoor Truck Series race? How many people are in the grandstands for a NASCAR Xfinity Series race?
Not like
The
they used to
eyeballs
be.
are not there. The butts are not in the seats. And they give away tickets.
Yeah,
And that's a
for
show that
free.
starts on time every time. And you even know about what time it's going to end. Check the TV
Yeah.
guide before you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
this is not rocket surgery that we're talking about here. You have to run a
Yeah.
condensed show, and you have to keep the family of four in mind with everything you do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
flat answer.
Absolutely.
My wife and kids did not go to a racetrack last year because we leave at noon and we get home at 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
That's a long day. And when I was
Yeah.
working last year, I mean, there were some very long days in there where you still got an hour drive home on after work and till God till 4 o'clock, and then you got to bust your ass to get up north there, and then go up there till midnight or whatever. That's a long ass day, and people. I mean, though granted, I mean you got the show in fairly quickly, but still, I mean it wears down on you a lot, and it's just one of the things where you got to take consideration that people don't work that Monday through Friday anymore either. I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah.
And look what they did this week. I mean, I understand it was only one division on most of these shows, except Screven, which they all stars. I mean, they all stars were still done by about 10:30, which is still a nice job by them. I mean, they did a really nice job of getting the show through. But everywhere else, they were done. Lucas Oil, they were done by. If they didn't have all the yellows, they would have been done by 10 o'clock each night. I mean,
You
Mhm.
can't say
that's
that one,
qualifying.
though.
And
Well,
if you're
that's
gonna
after
run,
qualifying 74 cars too. That's a lot of qualifying in there too. And then, but you're also started at 7 o'clock. They started at 7 o'clock each night. That allowed ample time. They started at 5:30 for qualifying. That gave ample time to redo the track and be on the track for first heat at 7 o'clock. And they still, if they started at 7 o'clock, they had most of those shows done in about 3 hours.
yeah, and that's the way it should be, like 100%.
Yeah. I
Have
mean,
have your track prep done before 7. If you're advertising heat races to be green at 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, not
Yeah.
7:01, not seven
well,
o'clock and
this
58
is one of the
seconds.
things that really gets me as a broadcast partner to racetracks. We have people that ask us, what time are the races start? I don't know. The advertising we did last year was hot laps at 6, racing to follow. What does
Yeah.
that mean? If I'm a family of 4, I hear racing to follow. Oh, cool. Okay, 6 o'clock, I'm going to see features. Nice early night. I can bring the wife, kids, have dinner at the racetrack, tailgate a little. Bang, we got a fun family night out of it. And then features are rolling off at 10:30.
Hmm.
You lost that family of 4 that sees that as a one-off. So the racetracks have to understand you have to advertise a start time. That's one of the things that made NASCAR and IndyCar explode in the 70s was they decided to fit the TV window.
Mm-hmm.
The TV window opened at 3 o'clock. You got 5 minutes of talking, 3 minutes of commercials, national anthem, drivers start your engines, go.
Yeah,
That's
racing by
why
3:15.
people get all verklempt about, oh, well, why are the drivers in their cars during the national anthem? Because that's how you run the show. That's how we get
Because
you
if we
out of
say we're
here
going
in a
green-
decent hour.
Yeah, if we say we're going green at 3:15, we're going green at 3:15.
Yes.
We're not doing the national anthem at 3:15. The cars are on the track at 3:15, coming around, waiting
Bingo.
to see that green flag drop from the flag stand at 3:15. Not a second before, not a second after. 3:15.
Yeah, that's the biggest headache of the whole thing, is when you're kind of fighting the losing battles that way.
Yeah.
But, gentlemen, I do have to say, we've put in an hour and a half here now. Should we probably quit yapping at ourselves and let the viewers go to sleep or something?
I think we should. It
Yeah,
is Sunday night.
It's Sunday fun day in the middle of a snowstorm. I mean, the hell with it. But hey, before we go,
okay.
Before we go, last topic. I'm not a Carson Macedo fan by any stretch of the imagination, but that car is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is absolutely
that I know where you're going, Chris, with the monochrome and the whole fucking 9 yards.
I don't have a problem with the monochrome. My problem is at a dusty dirt track. How easy is it to lose a car that is black and dark gray under the often dog crap lights at these racetracks?
Oh, come on. We got the best lighting with the World of Outlaws, though.
No.
Shut up.
I know. The TV guys are going to be suicidal.
Okay?
Oh, my God. The TV guys are literally going to lose their mind trying to keep up with what black and gray car with orange trim they're looking at.
Between him, Gravel, Zerfoss.
Let's keep going.
It's gonna. I mean, we can throw shots into the mix with that car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not orange, but you know they're all
they're all gray. They're all going to blend in.
Shots, they have a good reason with that, with this being his silver anniversary season. So, I can get behind that one.
So wait, is the entire World of Outlaws field just fucking with Donnie Schatz at this point then?
Could be.
It's a fucking possibility.
You know what? I think we have opened a conspiracy theory here, guys.
Oh,
I think we have.
That's beautiful.
Oh my God! Can someone pop up the guy from the History Channel, the aliens, and he's like, can we pop it like him? Have him float across the screen somewhere?
I will work on that this week for Adam's conspiracy theory of the week.
There we go. Perfect. Pig. There you go. That's your project for next week. All right, boys. I think we've had enough. This has been a lot of fun for the last hour and a half here. Any final words, Adam? Any final words?
No, I'm good. I think maybe.
Chris? Maybe, I don't know.
No, I'm good. I will say this. This has been fun. I think we should do more Sunday night bullshit sessions.
Well, I tell you what, let's do it next week since we'll be racing for the next straight week. And I think next Sunday might be the next break we get.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That might be the next edition of the Highside Hustle.
I love the idea. We can crap all over NASCAR if we want the week after that or 2 weeks after that.
I like that.
We can have a lot of fun here. And by the way, I'm not saying I want to crap on NASCAR, but it just seems like that's what dirt fans want. So
you can't hide what's inside.
How about what if our next watch along would happen to be on February 14th in that Daytona 500?
If you think for 1 second I'm going to be in any shape or form to do a fucking podcast,
you and those are probably going to be together watching that shit show. So you know damn well
exactly.
Do it.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to you.
How about a watch
along?
Room? A Daytona 500 watch along.
3.5. Are we starting with the Luke Combs concert and ending with the fucking checkered flag? Or
no,
what?
we will go with. We'll say I'll check what the green flag time is because NASCAR actually publishes that to the second.
Yes.
It'll be like 2:15 and 18 seconds is the green flag. So
if they don't go green at 2:15, 18, I'm signing off. I'm going to bed.
I want to bring this up next week's show, but why the hell are we starting NASCAR races at 3:00 in the afternoon, especially Daytona 500?
Television windows, come on, you know that.
I know it, but it still pisses me off.
You want to hit the NFL window.
The West Coast. You want to hit the West Coast? I know.
You need the West Coast a little bit, but it's
West
more
Coast.
about hitting the 8 p.m. TV window for NBC.
Yeah.
Fox has less of an issue with it. But
True.
I guarantee you they're probably going to have like Fox Sunday Baseball, Sunday Night Baseball or something like that you want to tie into. It's about the lead-in programming. A race that starts at 12 and ends at 3 is not a good TV window.
No.
But
well, maybe I'm just a traditionalist. I don't know. But anyway,
yes.
So. All right, boys. I think that's a good place to let off. So
yes.
Yeah, let's shoot for that. I think we'll do probably not.
But I'm really surprised.
Are we a Sunday night show now?
God no. Maybe. I don't know.
For a couple of weeks we will be, just because there's so much racing going on.
Yeah, but in the same aspect, we're not always going to have Sunday Fun Day in the middle of a fucking snowstorm. We can't continue to use that excuse.
I don't know. I think we could kind of get drunk whenever we want, but okay.
I think it's a free country.
I mean, it works for me because
this isn't Russia. Is this Russia?
Yeah, exactly. You can get drunk wherever you want. Like we can go get drunk at 2 o'clock on a.
I can't
Wednesday
I can't go too hard on a fucking Sunday night. I have to be up for 4 a.m.
God. The cuss count broke, by the way, people. Anyway, all right, Bert, get out of here and take us home.
All right. Well, folks, that'll do it for a very special edition of the Highside Hustle here on Sunday Fun Day in a snowstorm. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us here tonight. What's that?
You forgot something.
What did I forget?
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook.
I am getting there.
Oh, were you? Were you going to get there? Because it seemed like you were going to skate right on by that, Bert. Don't forget about Patreon this time.
I don't care what is going on outside. I will drive over to Port Carbon and smack you in the head. Look, we got taken off the air. Thanks. Anyway, so thanks for joining us here on a very special edition of Highside Hustle. Sunday Fun Day in the snowstorm. Don't forget to follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/National Racing Network. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Also, follow us right here on Facebook at National Racing Network. Subscribe to YouTube at National Racing Network over there on YouTube. Subscribe and like this video as well. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Highside_Hustle. I'm on Twitter at Bert Wojcik. Adam's on Twitter at RudeBright22. Follow us both on Instagram. I believe I'm at Bert Wojo. Adam, you're at RudeBright22, I believe, as well.
Yes,
by the way, boys, coming up in the next week or so, we'll break the news tonight. We're coming to podcasts, too. You can hear the hustle on podcast form. Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, the whole bit.
Oh, God, that's going to be – this is the shit show. Wait till you hear that. You don't have to see the shit show. You can just listen to the shit show.
Yeah.
While you're driving.
You don't have to physically see how ugly
you don't have to see the shit show. You can just watch the shit show.
you can just listen along.
All right, that's enough. That's enough for tonight. So, and I haven't been drinking. So, for Adam Rubright, producer Chris Graham, Sky Deal, wherever you are, the captain, thanks for joining us. My name is Bert Wojcik. Keep on hustling. We'll see you guys next week on the Highside Hustle.